Hi, this is video 1 of a 4-part series of videos of feedback on improving Sonic Frontiers. Each video will focus on one of 4 topics, those being movement, combat, level design, and enemy design. Today, we will be discussing the game's movement system. Before we begin, we need to understand what the developer's goal was when making this game. Based on various interviews and the game itself, I believe that the goal was to give the player as much freedom as possible. As such, all feedback will be in line with that goal. We want to give the player many tools that can be creatively used to move through the environment. Let us begin. In order to properly illustrate the points I want to make, I will be using footage from both vanilla and modified versions of the game. I will also use simple video edits for anything that cannot be shown otherwise. Firstly, we must address the most important aspect of any platforming game, the jump. In Sonic Frontiers, Sonic loses speed whenever he jumps. This can be frustrating to players and limits their options with the jump. The solution is to make Sonic's jump carry all of his speed. This is what Sonic fans refer to as the conservation of momentum. This will allow players to perform a slope jump, which is a fundamental movement technique in many Sonic games, in which the player uses their current speed and a slope to get more airtime and distance. The slope jump is present in classic Sonic games and the Sonic Adventure games, and is one of the many reasons why those games are so beloved. With use of this technique, players will be able to move around the environment in creative ways. To prevent the slope jump from being too powerful, levels must be built with its use in mind. As one final note on Sonic's jump, make Sonic lose speed when performing a double jump. This will make it easier to adjust your trajectory in midair and prevent you from overshooting a jump. In addition to his jump, Sonic should be able to carry all his speed from a light speed dash. Next, we must discuss a somewhat touchy topic in the Sonic community, momentum. What does a Sonic fan mean when they say they want a game to have momentum? We can break momentum into 2 parts, the conservation of momentum and slope physics. As previously discussed, the conservation of momentum is the ability to carry speed between actions, most commonly through a jump. Slope physics, also referred to as pinball or rolling physics, are a little different. If a game has slope physics, it means that Sonic's ground speed is affected by the angle of the terrain he is moving on. Sonic will decelerate when moving uphill and accelerate when moving downhill. The strength of the acceleration and deceleration is greater if Sonic is rolling rather than running. Slope physics are already present in Sonic Frontiers, but have a short speed cap and little effect on Sonic's speed, even when rolling. I highly recommend raising the strength of the slope physics and greatly increasing or completely removing the speed cap. If the terrain greatly affects Sonic's speed, players will need to pay more attention to the environment and plan out routes to keep their speed. Momentum is the main reason why so many Sonic fans love the gameplay of the classic and adventure games, and is a perfect fit for open zone gameplay. Again, the environment must be designed with momentum in mind. To complement the momentum-focused gameplay, it's vitally important that Sonic's roll be adjusted. In Sonic Frontiers, Sonic can barely turn while rolling. This greatly decreases the move's usefulness. Most players never use it. The solution is to increase Sonic's turn radius while rolling. This makes the roll much more versatile, allowing the player to use it more to effectively gain speed. The roll should also not cancel automatically. Sonic should remain rolling even at low speeds. I also suggest being able to cancel out of a roll by boosting or by sliding. Finally, give Sonic the ability to roll on command in the open zone. This will give the player more control over how much they want the terrain to affect their speed. Rolling can be mapped to the left trigger. In Sonic Frontiers, there is a movement technique called the Trick Launch. This is performed by boosting off terrain that has a sharp angle and can be used to move around the environment creatively. However, Sonic tends to stay glued to the ground. This makes the terrain Sonic can trick launch off inconsistent. Many times, I have tried to use the terrain to trick launch, only to stay glued to the ground or launch in an unintended direction. As such, I suggest that the angle tolerance to trigger a trick launch be reduced, so that Sonic can trick launch off more surfaces and will feel less glued to the ground. I also noticed that Sonic trick launched whenever moving straight up a surface. Because of this, Sonic cannot run on walls or the ceiling unless they are magnetic. This should be adjusted so that trick launch only triggers from running off a ledge or sharp angle. Sonic's current angle should not be a factor. Sonic should be able to seamlessly run up and across walls, just like in Sonic Adventure. Additionally, Sonic should be able to manually run through loops and corkscrews, and also be able to trick launch out of a loop or corkscrew. Now, let's talk about Sonic's boost. The boost is used to instantly accelerate Sonic to high speed. Only a few changes need to be made to the boost. First, increase the rate at which the boost meter is consumed. This will discourage the player from relying too much on the boost. Secondly, do not have the boost accelerate Sonic to top speed. Instead, players can reach top speed by rolling or running downhill, which can then be carried into a boost. This is also to encourage the player to use slope physics to gain speed, and not just the boost. For the power boost, give the player the option to disable the power boost activation animation. Lastly, give Sonic the ability to run across the water's surface if moving fast enough. This is an ability that Sonic has had for a long time, and it's strange that it wasn't included in Sonic Frontiers. I also think it would be cool if Sonic created rainbows while running on water like he does in Sonic CD's opening. Now, a simple change to the Stomp. Refresh Sonic's Stomp after stomping on an enemy, spring, or dash ring. This will allow the player to use the Stomp again to quickly land or move straight down. Finally, Sonic's homing attack. This change is very simple. Reduce the hit stop from Sonic's homing attack by half or more. This will improve the pacing of levels. All of the changes listed are what I would like to see in a future open zone Sonic game or patched into Sonic Frontiers. I also recommend that all these changes to be adjustable in the options menu. This will maintain the level of freedom players have in customizing how Sonic controls. With that, those are all the changes and additions I would like to see added to new Sonic games in regards to movement. What do you all think? I have posted comments below the video that correspond to each change. If you like a change, like the corresponding comment, and dislike it if you disagree. Like or dislike the video if you agree or disagree with these suggestions overall. I also ask that this video be shared around and brought to Sonic Team's attention. Thank you for watching. In the next video, I will share my suggestions to improve combat in Sonic Frontiers. Till then, be cool, be wild, and be groovy.